Welcome to the sellthatoption.com YouTube channel. If this is your first time joining us here, taking a look at any of our daily recap videos, please feel free to reach out to me at ryan@sellthatoption.com should you have any questions about the process or anything that you're about to view. Now, momentarily, you're going to get to see a dated version of what I send to our members here at sellthatoption.com every single day after the close if we initiate a trade. Okay, and so I send these after the market closes. They're able to take a look at the trades that I make. I talk about why I entered the trade, what I was looking for when I initiated the trade, my profit targets for that trade, and any general market commentary that was important when we were looking at that trade. Now, it's important to note here that these are trades that you can take a look at the night after. You don't have to be chained to your computer all day. See if there's something that you like and then initiate the trade potentially on the next business day. Okay, and so what we're going to do is here is if you are a member or you're looking at a membership, what you would do is you would come over here, select members, and then you would click daily recap videos. Okay, so let's take a look at exactly what a daily recap video page would look like and how our members would utilize that page. All right, now here we are in our daily recap video page, and so you can see a little bit of education that our members would get to read, and then you just go down here and you click play. Okay, now I've got it set up to where the most recent video is always the first one that shows up. You can see the date, and so what you would do is you would just click play, and then you would be able to see the video. Okay, I don't have any of the other videos set up, but what you can do is you can come to this page right here, and then you can see all of previous videos that we have listed on the site. Okay, without any further information, let's get right into the daily recap video. All right, and welcome to our daily recap for December the 11th, 2017. So we actually had a really good day to the tune of approximately $660 in closed profit. Now, for those of you all that are members, you all saw that we were pretty active, and you got an email every single time we either entered or got out of a security. Now, each of the three securities we exited were for profit, and we did enter into XRT, so we're going to go over all of that information during our recap. Okay, so we closed IYR, EWJ, and EFA, and as I said, got into XRT. Now, one of the things that this day really showcases is how good entering closed good until canceled closing orders are as soon as we enter our trades. As I said in a couple of the emails, I was doing other things when each of these securities triggered, each of these trades triggered, right? And so what's really cool about this is that I was not necessarily watching the market, and these trades were coming off because they hit my profit target. Now, as we know through best practice, it is approximately a 25% profit target for us when we are looking for getting out of a straddle, which is what all of these were. As you can see right here, they all were straddles. Okay, so let's get into each of these securities. Let's take a look at the chart. That way you can see exactly why straddles really worked for each of these cases. All right, let's do it. All right, let's start our discussion here with EFA. Now, EFA is a great trader for us. We trade EFA a lot because it doesn't tend to move that much. As you can see, the entire year it's moved about $13, and with a straddle, you can make money almost every month using a straddle. Okay, so as you can see, it moved up to a high of 70.43, down to a low of about 68.10 or so. Our straddle was centered at the 70 mark. Now, the 70 call and put. Now, what's important about this is that it's right at the top of the channel, but we know that many times a security that is overbought or oversold, it won't necessarily immediately change direction. A lot of times it'll move sideways before changing in a direction. We also know that unless the security has large moving averages that are breached or whatnot, that it's important for us to realize that this trend is still intact. And so while we saw a little bit of movement, ultimately we saw the security stay basically sideways for the last 2 months, trading between 68 and 70.5. Okay, so this is EFA. Again, great trade, made some pretty good money, and we'll look to continue to add EFA pretty much every month, especially if we get pops in implied volatility. Another favorite of ours here at Sell That Option is IYR. As you can see, IYR has had $9 worth of movement over the course of an entire year. $8 actually, from basically 75 to 83 exactly. Now, what we know here is that straddles again are going to work because it stayed relatively sideways. Now, in this trade, we were centered, let's see here, what were we centered at? We were centered at the 83 call and put. And so since we were centered at 83, we actually took this trade off for 25% profit from 83, which is the high, at $81.67. Again, great trade because we're able to be close to that 25% profit target, or right at that 25% profit target, and we're $1.50 away from the security. So great trade here, easy trade, took it off at 25% profit, and we'll continue to look to just add these. But again, securities can move up, securities can move down, and with a straddle, this goes to show that even though our short strikes were centered at 83, the security moved all the way down to 81, and we were still in a position to make money. That's what we like about the system here at Sell That Option. That's what I teach, and this is a fantastic example of that. Okay, let's take a look at our last security, EWJ. All right, and here we are in EWJ. Before I go any farther, though, let me apologize if you can hear my very large and very rambunctious dog that is snoring here in my home office. He is actually a Rotsky, so a Rottweiler Husky mix, and he is quite the snorer, and so I'm trying to make sure that the mic is not getting that. But if you hear that, I'm sorry, and say hello to my pup. All right, let's take a look at EWJ. Now, EWJ actually had relatively high implied volatility. Even though the security was in a pretty major uptrend, we had this centered at the 59 strike, and so again, it was moving away from that 59 strike, and time decay just really helped us here in EWJ. But again, so we saw the security move all the way up to $60.17 and then back down to 59, and we were able to get this position off today. Okay, so this is just another great example of a straddle working for us and just letting time decay kind of do its thing. Now, again, these three securities netted us about $661 in profit. I think the exact total after commissions was $661.30. And so great, easy trades that don't take a lot of management. We literally just watched them do its thing. None of these were ever challenged, and so we were able to really utilize the principles that we teach here at Sell That Option, set initial good trades, take in initial large credits, use implied volatility to our advantage, and then let the securities naturally do their thing, and most times we're going to make money. Okay, now let's take a look at the security that we entered into, XRT. XRT's implied volatility is elevated, so we're going to show our implied volatility levels, and we are going to show the chart and kind of what we're hoping to get out of XRT. Let's continue going on. All right, and here we are. As you can see, our cursor is over our XRT implied volatility level. We do see that our implied volatility level is elevated. Now, it has had a 10% move in the last 3 weeks, but what's important to note is that many people incorrectly assume that implied volatility levels only go up when the security moves down. However, that's not always the case, and as we can see here in XRT, as the security has moved up, we've seen a general rise in implied volatility. We see the implied volatility percentile and level at 36.52, which is over that 30% that I personally like to see. So this is exactly why we got into the security. Now, as you know, we have many more securities, and we have positions in almost every single security above XRT, with the exception of XHB, and that is one that I'll be looking to get into tomorrow. Okay, so this is why we got into the position here, is because we didn't have a position in XRT, and so we wanted to get into it because of the higher implied volatility level. Now, to note, this is the January 26th expiration, as I have said a couple of times and will continue to say. The reason is because I wanted to get about 45 days of premium in this position. Okay, let's continue to move on, and let's take a look at the risk analysis and the chart. Okay, now as you can see, we are in our XRT final part analysis, and so one of the things that we're going to look at is we do have a current probability of profit at 54.76%. With management and early management, that number is actually significantly higher. You can see our break evens at 42.41 and 47.59, and so we have really nice wide break evens here. Okay, so feeling really good about the amount of space that we have and the amount of work that we can look at and amount of work that the security can go through in order to stay within our break evens here. As you can see, again, as I mentioned a couple of times, we are on a weekly expiration at January the 26th, 2018, which is a week after the monthly expiration in that security. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart here, and then we will wrap up for the evening. And the last thing for this evening is we will look at our XRT chart. The pink lines represent our break evens, and so we see two primary things that I want to talk about here. First, we have plenty of room for the security to continue its rise on the upside, so we have plenty of room. I think that we're either going to see it decrease or we're going to see the security just stay range bound here, and so I really like the fact that we have so much room to the upside. Now, we did receive enough credit that our break even on the downside is right above a very significant level of support, and that very significant level of support is the level of 42. As we can see, that it has been support and resistance for quite a number of different times, and so we finally saw the security break out of the 42 area in the last 2 weeks or so. Now, I really like the width of moves that XRT can go through in order to stay within our break evens. Now, we have already entered a good to canceled order at 25% profit, and so we'll look to manage this trade early. Otherwise, this is a very typical straddle that we like to enter into here at sellthatoption.com. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at ryan@sellthatoption.com. Otherwise, as always, stay hungry, stay humble, and here's to our success.